Simic is a fascinating color pair, which blends the conflicting energies of blue and green to create something truly special. While the Ravnican Guild, that of Simic, does a good job of showcasing how science and nature can coexist, there is much more to this pair than meets the eye. In Strixhaven, we were given a glimpse into the mathematical side of the color combination, revealing a new perspective on blue and green, and yet we can still go deeper. In this video, I aim to delve into the underlying philosophy of Simic, filling in the gaps to reveal its true essence, by presenting the core conflicts which shape the pair. This act of finding the space where the two colors present can agree through opposing ideas will give us insight into who this pair truly is. But first, I would just like to express my gratitude to my patrons and invite those of you who enjoy this content to consider supporting its growth. So with that, let's open our minds and explore the fundamental conflicts which form the philosophy of blue-green, or Simic. The most personal of conflicts within the combination of Simic, and one that permeates through all of its philosophies, is that of instinct versus learned knowledge, or nature versus nurture. Green as a color believes that it's born into a role and is given the tools it needs to grow into what it was meant to be, while blue states that we are but a blank slate, who, through learning and iteration, can reach its potential. With this in mind, the philosophy of Simic must lie somewhere in between. Simic would then be of the philosophy that yes, we are born into an environment and given specific traits which influence our purpose, but that is only a starting point. From there, we must always aim to transcend a singular purpose and work towards our potential. In fact, Simic would go further still and state that it is our human instinct, or nature, to learn, and that such desires are our evolutionary strength. This philosophy at the heart of Simic is that of taking the basis of nature, of our innate instincts and the environment which shaped us, and then iterating upon it through experience and learning. In the eyes of this pair, nature has given us a starting point, or a base set of tools, and a mission to accomplish. But in order to reach that potential or purpose, we must work towards it through learning and understanding, and of nurturing the gifts that we are given. In many ways, a reliance on only instinct leaves no room for growth, and a mind for only knowledge which rejects our instincts will find itself in a place removed from its true nature. Green may fear that by putting our mind to learning, we may discover answers that take us away from our animal side, from our purpose chosen at birth, and one shaped by our environment. But Simic's blue side states that we must not fear searching for knowledge, as this action will only take us back to the beginning, to the root of who we are, to the root of everything. You see, truth cannot be broken through questioning. It can only be reinforced, if it is indeed truth. In this way, Simic will dig into every bit of knowledge available, ensured that such instincts to do so will only strengthen its position. You see, it is indeed true that much like animals, there is innate knowledge within us, that of underlying mechanisms of the human experience, while at the same time, this knowledge is but a root state of being and must be added to. And through the act of understanding how those inner mechanisms function, we may better reach our potential or our purpose. Neither cancel each other out, and both can exist. This is what Simic respects and what the core of its being is based upon. The conflict of tradition versus that of progress is one that asks, should we rely on the rituals which have worked for so long, or should we always aim to carve a new path and abandon old ways as they are but shackles upon the future? In many ways, these two seem as though they could not exist together. But the truth is that those same traditions were forged upon an empty path, and that progress without the foundation of tradition will crumble. Simic believes that yes, there is indeed repeatable acts forged through history that have value, but the value of those traditions should never hinder progress. And in that, through progress, new traditions can be formed. It's an outlook which has a greater effect on society, as many societies can stagnate in their traditions, while others are flimsy if they do not respect what has worked before. Think of it like this. A person is born into a system where there is deep-rooted traditions. These traditions then give the individual a starting point, which is based on ideas that have been proven to work. This individual can then aim to bring about a new methodology by leveraging that strong base. A society then built off of this pairing can reach new heights upon each generation, as the next flock will now have a new platform to begin their journey upon. If we only stick to our old ways, we cannot hope for a brighter future. And if we do not appreciate what has worked for our forefathers, we risk making the same mistakes that they did. In some ways, this is an act of both valuing the past as much as the future. Green is a color of acceptance, as its view of the natural world is that it's already perfect, and to cast aside any natural creation would mean doubting nature's intent. Of course, this concept does not extend to the unnatural or perversions of that natural order. This is why it often comes into blows with blue, as blue sees everything around it as merely an initial step into what it could be. What this means is that blue does not see anything as perfect the way it is, and instead aims to bring about perfection out of those things, like a sculptor to a blank lump of clay. As you may know, perfection is an impossible dream, and in this way, this striving for perfection is one of blue's greatest weaknesses, and its strengths. Simic in this way is then of two minds. Yes, nature is perfect, but that does not mean it cannot be helped along. You see, evolution shows us that nature is always working upon itself, even if that pace may be slow, iterating over a millennia upon its creations. An animal only becomes more specialized and efficient over time. So does this mean that green is then striving for perfection? Well, no. Green will accept each stage and will not interfere with it at any point, especially not in the way that blue would. Blue would place a rocket booster on a pig just to see it fly. What this means for Simic is that it will be a pairing who simply pushes nature along, or it will experiment with what is provided within the biology of nature's gifts, but will not pervert those same gifts. Nature is a wonderful engineer, but works far too slowly for my tastes. This flavor text from the card Master Biomancer to me encapsulates this conflict within Simic best. Nature will iterate through evolution, but rarely does it experiment with foreign ideas. This is what blue brings to the table, a mind for experimentation and perfection. Simic then states that nature in all of its glory has left us all the tools we require and has hidden the blueprints among its creations. We need only dig into what is provided to learn what we can, and from there enact perfection. Humanity has always tried to understand the greater unknown forces around us in all of its infinite grandeur. This side of humanity is then reflected by the color blue, a color who cannot sit by and simply witness the many mysteries around them without trying to understand it all, down to its root equation. Now, it's not that green does not lay its eyes upon such infinite beauty and feel nothing. It's just that for green it's a matter of reverence rather than curiosity. Green sees itself as but a small speck among the infinite, This revelation fills the color with calm and awe, while blue is overcome by a restless need to know, to reach out and lay its hands upon the stars, and to map its every molecule. The resolution to the conflict in Simic's mind is actually that it finds the whole argument meaningless. To say that humanity is only a small piece of the universe is foolish, as we are universes in our own right. And to say that we could ever understand everything is an arrogant position on our part. We are in fact an extension of the infinite, while being finite in scope ourselves. To an ant, are we not gods? But to a god, are we not ants? Simic is okay with not knowing, or of its inability to grasp at the universe beyond us, but that doesn't mean it won't try. Through math and physics, we can better understand the universe around us, but at the same time, we must realize that even physics breaks apart at a great enough scale. In our own lives, this could mean accepting spiritualism, in that it holds a tie to that which we don't understand, yet experience, but never abandoning science, as it can be used to quantify what we do know. It's okay to live a simple life, but we should never allow our curiosity to die. Said simply, the philosophy of Simic in this regard is that of being a finite part of the infinite, of how even our actions, small as they may be within the greater scheme of all things, is as important as something like the death of a star, for those actions affect the universe within us in ways greater than a distant star ever could. Simic is a color pair who is defined by the conflict of blue and green, colors who hold a fundamentally different outlook on the self, our place, and of how we should interact with the universe around us. This pair shows us that perhaps our assumptions on such topics are more nuanced than we could have previously believed, from topics that start with the self to those that go beyond our understanding. Simic believes that it is a culmination of our environment and our pursuits that make us, that tradition and progress can be utilized in tandem to create a better world. Simic believes that we can work in cooperation with nature to find a new version of perfection, one that recognizes nature as the ultimate authority, yet one we can call partner. For we are a part of nature, and yet the hand that guides us. We are the finite and the infinite. We are nature's children, yet gods in our own right. Well, I hope this gave you a new perspective to think about. And I just want to be honest with you all for a moment and simply say thank you to both the fans who have been with me for a while now and to you new fans who have found the beauty of discussing the color pie. There are times when I feel down and I struggle to write, but each day I get wonderful comments on my videos of how my videos have touched you or inspired you in some way, and that means the world to me. It's what keeps me creating. So once again, I would just like to say thank you. With that, my friend, I will catch you in the multiverse. Bye.